People often say to me, Andrea, you're such a character, you should write a book. You'll notice that I'm wearing butterflies, a lot of butterflies, right? Well, I could imagine, and I used my grandson Oliver as a model for one of the characters in this book. And I can imagine Oliver saying to me, Grandma, what happened to that caterpillar? He's just starting to notice about death and learn about death. He saw a little bird in a nest and it was dead. So Stacy's been explaining this to him. So I can imagine he would say, well, what happened to the caterpillar? Did it die? And I would have to say, not really. It just transformed into another realm. Now it's a butterfly. Now it can fly. It's not climbing on the trees, it's flying. And this is a metaphor for what happens when we die and we become butterflies in spirit. But it's hard to believe that the caterpillar's still there if you can't see him anymore. This book, She Found Herself in Heaven, answers a lot of questions. Here are some of the questions. Suppose you died suddenly and you didn't even know what happened. How would you even know you were dead? Suppose you got to heaven and it was nothing like you expected heaven to be. How would you feel about that? Suppose you got to heaven and you were so happy there that you felt guilty because you were happy to be dead and all your loved ones were back on earth being stuck being alive. So the question is, what's it really like in heaven? And are there fun places to go and interesting events? You see, I'm getting to be more and more of a writer, but for years I was a therapist. And I enjoy posing questions that I then expect the other person to answer for themselves. So that's what this book is about. It's bringing up questions, and you can read the story and say, oh, so that's what heaven's like. You could say, nah, she's got it all wrong. It's okay. Now, what can I tell you about She Found Herself in Heaven? She Found Herself in Heaven has mysteries on both sides of the veil. Every other chapter takes place on earth, and every other chapter takes place in heaven. So you go back and forth from the heavenly characters to the earthly characters. It guides people on a guided tour of what to expect in heaven. It's kind of like a travel log of heaven. If I were suddenly in heaven, what would it be like? I've continued to have all of these spiritual experiences, some of which are in my memoir, because they were part of my life, but all of which contributed to me thinking, I could now write a novel about everything that's going to happen after you die and you're in heaven. Now, I don't know if it's actually true. But I'm not writing a treatise. As Claudia said, it's fiction. Why would it offend anybody? So that's my story. This one was especially fun because I didn't even have to worry about anything that was true. This was, I'm going to tell you what my favorite part of being a writer. It's really gives you a sense of empowerment. It's like, I can make up all these people. I'm in control of everything that happens in their lives. I don't like the way something turned out. I can change it. This is the most fun I've had. I mean, in real life, you can't play God. But when you're being a novelist, you can do anything to these characters you want. And if you hurt them, they're not real anyway. So, you're not even doing anything wrong. It's kind of like a power trip. I like it. I have fun with it.